what happens is with all of this highly connected ecosystem, we now have a set of attack vectors that we have to watch out for. So let me just kind of walk through some basic ones. So one of the most basic ones is credential theft.
Right.
Stealing the password of the not just the driver, but imagine a global supply chain where you have downstream partners who are doing software. Maybe it's stealing the password of an engineer working 10,000 miles away. So we have to look at credential theft. We have to look at DNS spoofing, where a lot of these processes are using DNS addressing within the cloud or within the car to resolve to a server. We have to look at server exploitation. So this is where a cyber attacker can find a server, whether it's in the vehicle or in the cloud, and basically do a front door attack. Another attack vector is location spoofing, and that's where the hacker tries to either jam GPS or confuse the car, make it think it's somewhere else. Next, we have lateral moving malware. This is actually really becoming a problem worldwide. A few months ago, there was an attack in Ukraine called NotPetya, and basically this was a malware that had the ability to move by itself. It basically had a scanner built into it, and this is quite risky if you think about the connected ecosystem. You could imagine malware kind of moving from process to process in the cloud, moving to the car. I know. And then finally, we have OTA retasking. So this would be an example where the cyber attacker intercepts the link, tries to pretend to be a back-end process and actually send commands to the vehicle. So these are kind of the attack vectors. And now let's look at some of the potential outcomes. And I've grouped these in two blocks. So the first block is data theft, and there's a lot of privacy laws around that that we have to watch out for. The next is poor operation. So you could have a number of these attacks, and they might just not make the vehicle work properly. Next up from poor operation would be non-operation. That is, the vehicle is basically confused. As you know, autonomous vehicles have a lot of safety triggers. Right. And imagine the hacker just triggering one of the safety mechanisms and causing the car to just park itself, right? So while these are kind of risky, the next set is even more risky. So one of the interesting ones is vehicle theft. As you mentioned, I do work with law enforcement here in the United States, and one of their things they've thought about is someone just telling the vehicle to go somewhere else. So you wake up in the morning and your car is gone. So I know it's we're laughing now, but there's actually people worried about this. Next up, in terms of severity, is really hijacking the driver. So we're all familiar with ransomware, where you get malware on your computer and you have to pay some money, or it takes your data. You could think of a nightmare scenario where you're in the car and you get a text message that says, hey, if you don't give me some money, we're not getting out of the car. And then finally is the risk of terrorism. This is actually quite serious, and there's a lot of effort within the U.S. intelligence community and law enforcement to make sure this does not happen. And so part of the thing is, as an industry, we have to make sure the car is completely locked down, so none of these happen.